Hi, I'm Roy Grimes, a founder and the president of the National Archery in the Schools program. One of the requirements for a school to adopt NASP for its students is for lessons to be presented by a NASP certified basic archery instructor. As a candidate for BAI certification, you are about to undergo what many educators claimed is the best professional development they've ever experienced. What follows is an overview of NASP, explaining many of the details about how it started and how it is expanding. The objective of the presentation is to orient you, the person who will present NASP lessons to students, to the purpose, scale, and popularity of this exciting program.
The title of this presentation is Nasp Overview. The purpose is to describe to you why NASP got started, where it was started, and who it was started for, and how rapidly it's expanding around the country, or actually around the world. By understanding the scope and scale of what you're getting involved in, it'll help you understand that you're not in this alone, that there are many tens of thousands of other folks who have been certified just like you are trying to become, and they are teaching students by the millions every year. So during the presentation, I'll cover what is NASP. I'll let you know how it's expanding. I'll describe a couple of culminating events and then share what we've learned from kids and teachers as we've conducted surveys of the program. NASP was a joint effort created by the Department of Fish and Wildlife Resources in Kentucky, the Kentucky Department of Education, and Matthews Archery. In fact, it was called CASP in the beginning, Kentucky Archery in the Schools program. We all were trying to get kids to spend less time in front of screens and more time outdoors. Teach them an outdoor skill so they'll spend more time with wild things in wild places, and that create a greater interest in our natural resources. This is our mission. We promote international style target archery as part of the in-school curriculum to improve educational performance and participation in the shooting sports. We cater to 4th and 12th grade students. It's an in-school program. These are our guiding principles. They have remained the same since the inception of NASP on March the 3rd, 2002. Safety. We didn't invent safety in NASP. Archery has always been a very safe sport because it's a very deliberate activity, and the user can see the projectile, where it's going and when it gets there, unlike some other shooting sports. But we keep it safe in NASP. We have safety protocols that involve form, involve the equipment and range development, and of course management of the range. All these things combined help to maintain the safety of the archery experience. In fact, we've had over 20 million students go through our program with 0 archery accidents. It's an in-school program. We are trying to reach students who may never had a chance to discover their interest and aptitude for archery. So it's designed to be taught by the teacher, someone the students respect in the school, to students, all students, most of which will never have been involved in archery before. It's a target archery program. While everybody on our planning committee in 2001 was a wildlife manager or a bow hunter or a fisherman, we decided not to include wildlife management topics in our training so that maybe some adult in some city, someplace would decide that they didn't want their kids to hear that information. We made it just a target archery program. Teach the skills to millions of young people. Let them decide how or if to use those skills someday. We use universal fit equipment. We use one bow worldwide. It's the Genesis bow. It looks like it's a compound bow. It has wheels and pulleys and strings, so it looks very modern to the young people. It's extremely durable. And an important thing about the bow is it's also affordable, but another important thing about the bow, it has an unspecific draw length, which means when you pull the string back to your anchor point or your face to shoot, it fits you. It'll fit the 4th grader, the 8th grader, the principal of the school even. One bow fits everybody in the class, so it's an easy bow for the teacher to manage with a class of diverse students. We also chose full-length aluminum arrows, 30-inch long arrows that fit the bow, that'll also fit almost everybody that would be in the archery class. We chose aluminum because it's the safest type of material for a youth program arrow. When the arrows are shot in targets, the kids will eventually hit one arrow with another arrow. When that's done with on an aluminum arrow, generally nothing bad happens. The arrow might break, it might be bent, it could be dented, but the student will be able to see that damage before they pull the arrow, put their hands on the arrow to pull it out of a target, and they'll remain unharmed as they do that. However, had we chose the more popular carbon or fiberglass arrows, again, they're great arrows, and they're shot on a target, and when they're hit by another arrow, generally nothing bad happens. But there could be a crack form in that arrow when it's struck like that or hits a hard object, and it might not be discovered until the student is pulling the arrow from a target and ends up with fiberglass splinters in their hand. So we go with aluminum only, and it's the Easton Nasp arrow made by Easton Technical Products. Our program is designed for 4th to 12th grade students. Units of study were developed by education specialists as we put this program together. The language used for those units of study are from 4th and 5th grade, that's our elementary division, 6th through 8th grade for our middle school division, and 9th through 12th grade. Students younger than 4th grade, or in grades younger than 4th, they have to wait until the 4th grade before they can be part of our program. Fish and Wildlife agencies, state agencies, generally administer the program in most of the places where NASP exists. In the states, it's state agencies. In the provinces, it's wildlife federations. In some of our other countries, it's also wildlife or shooting organizations that administer the program. Lessons are provided by trained teachers, by certified teachers. Even if you're an archery expert, you still have to go through our basic archery instructor training, pass our practical and our exam in order to be certified to present NASP lessons to students. Our training covers language, classroom management, all the things necessary to promote a thorough understanding of the shooting process of how to become an archer, and of course, all of our safety protocols that I've mentioned before. To date, participation has been tremendous. When we started this program, we were trying to get to every county in Kentucky, one school per county, and have 24,000 kids be involved. To date, there are more than 14,000 schools in the program, and teachers have taught more than 20 million students. The program has expanded well beyond Kentucky. We were in half the states of the United States when Mississippi joined in May of 2005. Today, there are 48 states in the program. We're missing Rhode Island and Vermont. Australia's in it, New Zealand, 9 Canadian provinces, South Africa, Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, and the United Kingdom are all part of NASP. British Virgin Islands is one of the last countries to have joined the program. Many more countries than this have asked about becoming part of NASP, but unless the persons asking have a network that involves their entire country and connection with educators so that the program can be presented in school, because that's our program design, that country can't become part of NASP. So we've turned down more than 30 countries because they aren't yet ready to administer such a program countrywide. We have culminating events. The program starts in the classroom where the teacher teaches archery to members of the physical education class, usually 70% of the time. 30% of the time, some other class is where the students learn archery. It could be Spanish, it could be math class. The classroom studies are followed by tournaments for about 60% of the kids in NASP. Some of those tournaments occur in the gym class. Some occur between schools, maybe within the state. And if there's a state tournament, there are students that can go from the state tournament to the national tournaments that NASP holds. Our record for the largest tournament in the world ever was 14,946 kids at the Eastern Nationals in Louisville, Kentucky. 41 states and Washington, D.C. were part of that event. More than 1,000 schools brought teams or individuals to that national tournament. That is our record. And by the way, all of our tournaments are 47 to 48% female, and the rest are male. So it is a co-gender activity that we have developed. We have another type of culminating event. A sister organization, the International Bow Hunting Organization, does 3D tournaments. These are tournaments where instead of a round bullseye like we use in NASP with scoring rings, they use simulated animals like deer or turkey or coyotes. And they joined us several years ago because 65% of the kids in Nasp said they would also like to shoot 3D targets. So we designed a program called the Nasp IBO 3D Challenge. The design of it involves the same bow, the same arrow. So the kids can use the same equipment they've been using in school on the bullseye target. The same distances. The kids shoot up to 15 meters in distance in NASP. They also shoot up to 15 meters in the IBO 3D challenge. So they can, the skills they have learned to shoot up to 15 meters in bullseye are the same they need for the IBO. The scoring rings on these simulated animals are the same size. The bullseye, the 10 ring, is exactly the same size on the animal targets as it is on the bullseye targets. So is the 9 ring. So they're shooting the same bow, the same arrows, the same distances, and the same scoring rings. And finally, the same number of shots. They shoot 30 scoring arrows in the 3D program as they shoot in the bullseye. So you can see we tried to make this 3D challenge accessible to every student that's already participating in bullseye. They can just step away from the bullseye target over to the coyote target, the fake coyote, styrofoam coyote, if you will, and enjoy that sport as well. One of the things we do at our culminating events, whether it's a state tournament, a provincial tournament, or the national tournament, is we award cash scholarships. We are awarding millions of dollars in cash scholarships to students and entire teams at these events. These cash scholarships are for these students to go to any post-secondary education or training once they get out of high school. The check is written to the institution that the student is going to attend. The check is sent to the family of that student. The family of that student then delivers the check, the cash, to the university to offset some of their education expense. We don't count in those millions the in-kind or the matching support provided by the college or university. We count only the cash that we provide. Why is the National Archery in the Schools program so popular? And it is extremely popular. 94% of the students involved in our program say they love it. Number one is it's fun. Archery's always been fun. They like to see themselves get better at something with practice. So self-improvement is another reason why they say they like NASP. And finally, they love making and competing with their friends. Some of them, for the first time, are part of a team, where before they weren't part of any team, and many of them were sort of wandering the halls of the schools with a poor connection to the academic experience. We've done some student surveys. In these surveys, we've asked students what they think about NASP and what it's done for them and caused them to think about. 40% of the respondents from our student survey say they work harder in school because of NASP. 58% of the kids in NASP say they feel more connected at their school because they're part of NASP. That's a big deal for a student to feel like they're more connected to the academic experience, the teachers and the faculty and the other kids. And we have an effort started several years ago where a teacher or a coach can register their archers as academic archers if they achieve academic excellence that the school is expecting. Our record to date is over 31,000 kids registered as academic archers. They get a certificate and a patch, and these things often show up at school assemblies where the academic archers received recognition along with students who receive recognition in other sports or core content. We have another additional information from that student survey. 2/3 of the students said they are first-time archers. That's the group we're trying to reach. If this were an after-school only program, the kids who are already interested in archery or already involved in archery would be the only ones involved. That would be a much, much smaller number. So you can see we are reaching beyond the choir with the NASP. 39% of the kids involved in NASP say they have purchased their own NASP bow, a bow beyond the bow they've been using in school. They've actually taken a step deeper into archery. 34% more said they want to purchase their own bow, but they haven't yet. When you purchase a bow, you're an archer, and you can see here about 73% either have or want to. And since NASP began in 2002, United States archer numbers have increased by over 16 million. We're not all of that, but we're a big chunk of that. During this presentation, I've explained how NASP got started, when it started. I've talked to you about how it continues to expand every year. Our events multiply and grow. Nasp works for education, for academics in the classroom, and for making the student feel part of the experience. It also works for the archery industry, selling more bows and arrows, and for wildlife conservation, because whenever bows and arrows are purchased, there's an excise tax placed on the manufacture of that equipment that goes directly to Fish and Wildlife Conservation. The management of bluebirds, rabbits, squirrels, and elk benefit from the National Archery in the Schools program. These are our sponsors. They are varied and around the country. We thank them because without them, our nonprofit would not be able to function. Thank you.
Welcome back. I trust you now have a better understanding of the exciting effort you and tens of thousands of other adults are helping to make a reality for future millions of young student archers. If you have questions about anything that we've presented, please go to our website, give us an email, or make a call. Thank you.